And I guess the motivation, if you're thinking about a food festival, is where you start from. Why are you looking to launch or to run a food festival? From our perspective, yes, absolutely. I mean, sustainability starts with financial sustainability, and if you haven't got that, it doesn't matter how sustainable you are, because you won't be in business. As simple as that. I think for us, and for me personally, two sort of core beliefs. The first one is that there are, going back to that 79% of people buying food from supermarkets, there are actually literally thousands of producers out there producing incredibly good quality food and drink. And they're struggling for that remaining 21% of the crumbs at the table of the big supermarkets. Ironically, they're actually generally producing much better food than you'll find in the supermarket, but they don't have a route to market. So what we wanted to try and create was a way for those producers to come and sell, to find a market, ideally selling direct to the people who are going to be consuming their food, to enable them for their businesses to keep going. Certainly, part of my philosophical rationale for that is I'm very concerned about climate change, about peak oil, about population growth, all these issues that have become much more mainstream now. And I absolutely believe that if we don't look after local and regional producers now, the small guys, and they go out of business in 10, 15, however long it is, when we really need them to produce our food, they won't be there, and frankly, we'd be stuffed. So I think it's a crucially important thing that we're doing that. And I think the second thing is that it's this reconnection with consumers, with people who buy and consume food, to reconnect them back to where their food comes from. Because frankly, we have really lost our way over the last 50, 60 years of industrial food. And you guys all know, I'm preaching to the converted here, you know the research that's out there that children think that chicken comes from Sainsbury's. They have no connection with that bird that actually is where their meat has come from. And I think that's the cause of some of this veil that's being put over the industrial food system is why we've got this system that we experience now, where animal welfare, where environmental pollution and degradation is so rife, because we've been cut off from how that food's produced. And because we don't know about it, it's been able to happen. And I think the more that we learn about that, and the more that we engage people back with that, the better it will be for us. And food is so much more than just fuel. Food is about, it's an enabler of social interaction. And I talk about that a lot, and I say that phrase a lot, but I actually thought about it. Last weekend I said it at another presentation, and actually I thought about it. I'd been at dinner the night before with 10 people, round a table, sitting there for about 4 hours, eating, drinking, talking, having a great time. And actually when I thought about it, without the food and drink there, that just wouldn't have happened. It would have been really bizarre just sitting there around a table talking to people for 4 hours without any food and drink. So it's actually, it's the oil, it's the thing that makes social interaction happen on so many occasions. It's about our culture. It's so important beyond just that fuel. So re-engaging people back with where their food comes from, I think, is an important goal. And that's why you saw in the video we have a lot of livestock in our festival. Not many food festivals do that, but we think that's important because yes, from a cynical point of view, it makes us more unique, but I think it is the sort of embodiment of, this is our food. And I think from an event point of view, it's about inspiring, educating and entertaining people for that period of the festival. But what I often come back to is, we all of us probably run festivals on an annual basis, and consequently, that experience, that shopping experience that people get when they come to a festival, it's actually a bit of a novelty shop because it's not part of their everyday sort of food and drink shopping experience. It can't be because it's only happening once a year. So this was a bit awkward because I didn't know some of our sponsors would actually be here. So I'm going to talk about sponsorship and the money and maybe give away some of our secrets to the people we're going to be knocking on their door saying, can you sponsor us next year? But the truth is, one of the things that I believe fundamentally can cause problems with, I guess, what I would call the passion sector is that we're so wrapped up in what we're doing, the content and getting it right. Actually, the selling side of it is something that we don't really want to engage in. It's the commercial bit, it's not what we're about. However, it's absolutely fundamental, it's absolutely crucial, and without it we can't, without the funding, without the commercial money, it's unlikely that we can ever get an event off the ground. So I think it's really crucial to have a selling culture within a festival organisation, that to the extent where we have weekly sales reports, and people are often surprised. We get loads of people all the time wanting to come and work for us. They don't really have any idea what we do. They just think, oh, it's food and it's organisation and it's going to be fun. But actually a lot of it is just hard graft, on the phone, visiting people, knocking on doors, trying to sell them the concept and the idea of coming and inspire them to come and take part in the festival. I think the other key thing is that sponsorship now, which is a key part of our revenue stream, gone are the days you can just stick a logo on something and flog some sponsorship for 20 grand and think that's going to be enough, because it just isn't. Brands and companies that are investing in sponsorship need to see an awful lot more than that. What they want is for their brand or for their whatever they're positioning to be integrated as part of the experience in the festival. And consequently, I think you need to be really creative in terms of how that works. Firstly, it's clearly got to be the right brand. You can't just go, we would never have Tesco's, even if they came knocking on our door. Not that they necessarily would, but we wouldn't. Money obviously is a great tempter. I mean, maybe everyone has their price and maybe I have my price, but the truth is, if we put Tesco's name above the doors of our festival, we immediately destroy any integrity that we have and actually destroy the point of why the visitor would want to come. So it would be self-defeating. We'd have a great year that year with all that cash, and that would be the end of the festival. So I think it's finding the right partner that it really represents your brand and you represent theirs, and it's a very symbiotic relationship then, because what you can do is enhance their positioning by them sharing the values of what you do, but the converse applies as well. I mean, to give you a couple of examples, we have Sackler, who most people probably think of as they are quite a commercial brand, but they're actually very environmentally conscious. They're also a family-owned business in Italy, and they have a real passion about getting particularly children to cook, to use their sauces, but also the first step of actually cooking a dish rather than just a ready meal. And one of the things we did for them is that part of the sponsorship package was to promote the fact that kids went free at the festival last year, and that was courtesy of Sackler, very much fitting in with their family-orientated view, and positioning them as someone enabling the fact that kids go free. I mean, the fact that kids have always gone free at the festival didn't really matter. It's the perception, and I know that sounds terrible, but the perception that they wanted to create very much fitted in there. Jersey, who are here, another example, who are very proactive in terms of what they want out of the festival, and we find that really great to work with, because sometimes you get sponsors who do nothing, but Jersey are great, and I think what we did with Jersey was a combination of things that one of the years they'd been at the festival, they'd met 15 Restaurant, created a relationship with them, and we put together with them and 15 a sort of a package that included Andrew, their head chef, coming to the festival, of 15, Jersey chefs coming to the festival, and then at 15 Restaurant running a separate promotion during May about using Jersey produce, and a whole integrated communication between Jersey, between us and between 15, just enhanced the whole package to a much greater level than we could have done on our own. And I think that's crucially important, because actually sponsorship money is really hard to come by these days, and if you get it, you want to keep it. And we're particularly pleased that actually those are a selection of most of the sponsors who've been with us over the last 3 years, but a high proportion of those have done the festival twice or even 3 times, and hopefully, John, 4 times.